Batman has come to Arkham to speak to the Joker, who is in his cell playing solitaire.
I've been thinking lately about you. You and me.
I had sex with Batgirl on a rooftop the other night and started thinking about you. It's not weird, is it?
He talks about how, sooner or later, they're gonna kill each other.
Perhaps you'll kill me. Perhaps I'll kill you. Perhaps sooner. Perhaps later.
This is not really working. It's subjective, of course, but this is not sounding right to me. We'll talk about this more a little later. I'll keep these flashbacks short because there's not much to talk about, other than this really showing the limitations of this animation. The Joker, he's never given a name in these flashbacks, so we'll just go with that, explains to his pregnant wife how he failed to get a comedy gig and overreacts a little to her, admitting that he's just terrified of not being able to provide for her and their baby. In the comic, he's walking around, doing stage business. His emotions and expressions are big, and you can really feel the overreaction and hurt and pain he's going through. It's a great example of sequential art and Brian Bolland's own talent for it. In the movie, he stays still most of the time. While he has some emotional moments, it isn't played up like it should. It's all so stiff. Mark Hamill is trying, but he keeps slipping into his regular Joker voice when he shouldn't, and he's not going for any big outbursts. Jeannie, his wife, is pretty flat too. In the comic, she has this amusing response that, job or no job, he's good in the sack and he knows how to make her laugh. It's the kind of thing a couple would say to each other to give them a smile and whatnot. But the flat delivery of the lines in this just doesn't have the emotion it's going for. See, that's the thing. Even if we pretended that the stupid opening of this movie didn't happen, the actual Killing Joke adaptation isn't that good either. Another flashback to Joker's past. Desperate for money, he joins up with a criminal gang that plans to break into a chemical plant he used to work at, and consequently the playing card company next door to it. And unfortunately, this is another case where things don't quite work. The Joker is supposed to be half drunk and rambling his explanation about why he's doing this, basically trying to justify it to himself, but he doesn't sound drunk and he seems to be speaking naturally, not nervous or anything.
Sorry. I usually don't drink at lunchtime.
Breakfast booze for me! It's the most important meal of the day, after all!
I find the past such a worrying, anxious place. Yes, memories so treacherous.
Okay, we need to talk about this finally, and I know I'm gonna get pushback on this because it's one of the reasons why people were so excited about this adaptation. But Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are totally wrong for this adaptation and should not have been cast in it. There, I said it! I have lost all credibility as a critic. Anyone who's still here, let me try to explain myself. Yes, I think that they are the best Batman and Joker, respectively. Their iterations from the Batman animated series are, hands down, the best versions of Batman and the Joker. The problem is that these lines weren't written for the best Batman and Joker. They were written for a comic version of these characters from the 80s. Batman the animated series and the Timverse in general were not successful just on the backs of the voice actors. The writing, the directing, the artistic style, etc., etc. They delivered a good product by all working together to create something phenomenal. Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill in this are reciting lines written for an 80s comic with an entirely different aesthetic, with different versions of the characters than they would normally play, and it just feels so lifeless because their performances do not sound like they're doing these lines proper justice in their inflections and tone. Hell, let me give a better example of this. In Batman the Animated Series, there's an anthology episode called Tales of the Dark Knight, which featured a brief adaptation of a scene from The Dark Knight Returns. It features dialogue right out of the comic, and it's pretty damn faithful and interesting despite having to be put into a children's show. But the thing is, Kevin Conroy isn't voicing this Batman in the segment. And why would he? This isn't his Batman. It doesn't work with his Batman. They got Michael Ironside to voice him because Michael Ironside's got a voice that works with that version of the character, having also voiced Darkseid in the Timverse.
This isn't a trash heap. It's an operating table. And I'm the surgeon.
He sells it because he's Michael goddamn Ironside, and he plays that kind of character and is perfect for that kind of Batman. Kevin Conroy is not the Killing Joke Batman, nor is Mark Hamill the Killing Joke Joker. Now, the problem could just be bad direction for these two as well, because we know they're phenomenal actors and have done a million things outside of their iconic roles. It's possible they could have delivered a proper performance as these versions. This scene, though, is another one that is changing something from the original comic. Its own interpretation, but I would argue that the interpretation is not as good as the comics. In this scene in the comic, we only get one good shot of the Joker's face during this confrontation. He's grinning ear to ear to indicate his mood. The rest of the shot, he's far away and his face is hidden in shadow. That one close-up of his face implies that he is grinning the whole way through, exuberant and maniacal as he makes this speech. But in the adaptation, we can see his face a lot and he's barely smiling. He's subdued, reserved, even frowning a lot. This version even cuts out him making a joke or two and laughing at it. The Joker is trying to drive Jim Gordon insane, but instead of acting manic and theatrical to screw with his senses, he's monologuing like he's giving a soliloquy. I don't know what happened here. Maybe this was how Hamill interpreted the scene. Maybe this is what the director, Sam Liu, wanted him to do, but it does not work. Some of it is fine, but they're just doing the voices they normally do for the characters, and it doesn't match the dialogue. Or they're not going for the right tone from how it was in the comic. Batman goes on the hunt for the Joker in what was originally a silent montage. And instead they decide to throw in a reference to Batman Begins.
I swear to God, man, he ain't been around. Ah!
Swear to me.
And again, the line really doesn't work coming out of Kevin Conroy's Batman. As a reminder, here's how Christian Bale played it.
I swear to God. Swear to me.
This leads into the Joker's song, which, well, I admit, I had never actually realized that he was singing in that scene originally. Usually they would put musical notes around the word balloons to indicate that if that was the case. So, yeah, you got me there, movie. And then you have nothing, because then I noticed the terrible repeating animation of the dancing freak show. And this is actually a moment where Hamill's Joker works well. That showman over-the-top performance.
I go loony as a light bulb battered bug.
Honestly, the only thing that feels missing is his trademark laugh, which he never really does in this. He laughs a bit, but not the whole thing. Batman tries to confront him, but Joker trips and falls into a massive chemical vat, the drain washing him out nearby. He forces the helmet off and looks at himself in the water, and thus he has become the Joker, and he laughs, but I don't know, maybe it's just that Mark Hamill is getting older and can't do it as high-pitched as he used to, but you know how the Joker laugh sounds. This is gravelier and not as high, which is kind of a real shame when the panel it's trying to imitate has the laugh all around, and his maniacal laugh would match perfectly with this. Gordon tells him to go after the Joker and wants him brought in by the book.
You have to. We have to show him our way works.
And another more subdued line read. Gordon's supposed to be angry now. The plan to drive him mad has failed, and he wants to show the Joker how he was wrong by having him brought in clean. Instead, here he just sounds tired. And I'm sure he is, but it's not as dramatically compelling.
If I'm going to have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice.
Why does this movie hate the Joker giggling or laughing at moments like these? It's in the text of the comic. He laughs after that line because it's a joke. And I know my jokes are bad. I've been making the same joke about Batman hating rock and roll for over 10 years, for crying out loud. But you'd think the Joker would at least laugh at his own jokes. However, it's here where we come back to how the Killing Joke started. Batman wanting to try to stop their endless fight before one of them kills the other. And I think Kevin Conroy delivers it so flatly. I mean, it's not like Batman is really showing off a lot of emotion in the comic, but the dialogue really seemed like it was more pleading, sounding a lot more sympathetic about it. Instead, it's just, let me help you.
Let me help you.
Hamill's Joker is okay in response. There is a bit of sadness in his voice as he says it's far too late for that, but it still doesn't seem all that great.